Hey everyone, it's Dr. Christy here, doing the athletic training presentation for you guys um, for your preseason. Just going to go over a few things. If anybody has any questions, you can email me afterwards. We have two athletic trainers on campus. We have Miss Carrie Steele, who typically works with men's soccer, women's soccer, softball, and track. And then I am, like I said, Dr. Christy Voigt. I am the athletic trainer with volleyball, men's basketball, women's basketball, and baseball. We have two team physicians in case anything happens, if you need to get checked out. We have an orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Fine currently. We also may send you to Dr. Voden, whoever's available. And we have a sports medicine fellow who is through the military, who also comes once a week to check on any general medical or orthopedic complaints and will determine from there where you go. We have two athletic training rooms. One is in Rockville on PE 212. One is in Germantown, PG 122. The athletic training rooms are medical facilities. We want to remind you of that. We don't want anyone really, we're being a little bit more lenient. We're going to allow you to be on your phone, but we do not want any pictures, any TikToks, any Snapchats. None of that is going to be going on in the training rooms. We will ask you to leave if we do see you do any of that. We also want you guys to know that you may have no food in the training room. You may have water only. We'll cover some of that in the rules in the next slide. So these are our AT room rules. They're across the board, both athletic training rooms. You must sign in to receive your treatment. There will be a board, a little clipboard right on the inside of the door. You just sign in, say what you're there for and what body part. We are allowing you to use your phone, again, only if you're quiet, and again, no photos. This is kind of an issue for anyone trying to get recruited. If you have an offer, it can be rescinded from a team if any photos of you get out in the training room. If they see some type of injury, it's happened before. So we like to limit the amount of phone usage. No food other than water. You can have your water bottle, that's fine. You must be respectful and courteous to one another and the athletic trainer. This should be self-explanatory, but we do have more problems with it than you realize. Offensive language is unacceptable. Please try to keep the cursing to a minimum. Please do not remove items from the athletic training room without permission. And please remove your cleats and or your muddy shoes before coming into the AT room, and don't put them on my table. Please try not to congregate in the athletic training room. If you must congregate, go to the locker room. We love you. We don't want to hang out with you all the time. Any athlete who does not adhere to the rules will be asked to leave, and your coach will be notified. We don't want to do that. We don't want to tattle on you. Everyone should have a pre-participation physical in, but we'll go over that paperwork. Everyone has to have one every year in order to participate in any sport. Just for your information, in early August, we do a free physical for the whole school. And we have docs that come in, and we'll do that for anyone that needs it. Your health history must be completed before your doctor's visit. They have to be able to review that. So those are pages, I think it's 2 through 4, maybe. Those have to be completed before you go so that they can review it and ask any questions that they may have. The doctor's sections must be completed and stamped by the doctor's office. So those are pages 6 and 7. And all waivers must be signed and completed. Sometimes it's tough to see that, but there are all of those forms in the back. They need to have a signature and a date on them. All physicals should be turned into the athletic training room. If you hand it to your coach, this does not clear you until we've seen it. So a lot of athletes say, oh, I gave it to my coach. If I haven't seen it to review it, you can't play. In addition to that, we will not be able to provide treatment aside from first aid to any athlete who does not have their submitted physical reviewed by one of us. We're going to go through the different types of treatments. This is just super easy for you guys. We're not actually doing healthy roster, but when you have an injury, you can report it to your coach and to your athletic trainer. We have a level 1 injury is just an easy injury that I will see and I'll work with you individually, or Miss Carrie, and we'll monitor your progress and clear for full participation. A level 2 injury would be, we need you to see a doctor of some kind. So we'll refer you to whatever physician you need to see, be that an orthopedic, a cardiologist, etc. And the physician and we work together towards your recovery and your full participation. At a level 2 injury, a final clearance note needs to come from the team physician or the physician that you see in writing. We need a full clearance note. So if you want to go see your own doctor, that's perfectly fine. However, if you do that, you need to make sure that that doctor clears you and we know exactly what it is that they need from us and from you. A level 3 injury is a pretty serious injury. We will probably directly send you to the emergency room, and a copy of paperwork is required from the emergency room for you to bring it back to us. That will help us determine what the next phase of your treatment will be. The progress will be monitored by us, but the final clearance will come from the physician and the team physician. Concussions are the next item here. So once we determine that you have a concussion, we have the following protocol. So we'll determine what the severity is of the concussion. We'll determine what type it may be, what treatments you may need from there. We are going to let the team physician know that this happened, and we will require daily follow-up with one of the athletic trainers. So we have 2 protocols that you're going to go through, a return to learn and a return to play. The return to learn protocol is for those athletes who, I'll discuss this further, but need accommodations in class and may have to miss a few classes or may need certain help with that. You need to return to learn before you can return to play. So clearance for all activity is given by the physician and the athletic trainer. That's final clearance is given by the team physician. So we may take you through a return to play, and its standard is 5 days. You need to pass those 5 days. And once we go through that, we will then talk to the doctor, and then they will clear you for game situation. If you have a concussion, if we don't know about it, if it happens outside of practice, outside of games, please let us know. This is pretty serious, because if you have a concussion that alters your ability to be in class, if it makes it difficult, we will be able to activate services through disability services. Once we know that you have the concussion, we will contact the counselors so that they can notify your professors. And like I said before, accommodations may be made based on whatever condition it is that you have. The next slide, I know everyone's tired of hearing about COVID, but this is the current guidelines for MC for COVID-19. If you're sick, stay home. If you show up to practice sick, we're going to be super irritated with you. Please notify your coach and us that you are not feeling well. The procedure for exposed, vaccinated, and unvaccinated are as follows. So if you are vaccinated and you are exposed, we are not requiring you to quarantine unless you have symptoms. If you're exposed and unvaccinated, you must quarantine for 10 days. It's not changed from before. We're going to have you sit out for 10 days and just wait and see if you do have symptoms that arise. If you have a positive COVID-19 test, you must quarantine for a minimum of 5 days and must be fever-free for 24 hours with symptoms improving before you can come to campus. So if you're on day 6 and you are not taking Advil or Tylenol to manage your fever and your symptoms are improving, that would be when you can come back to campus. But please make sure that you're communicating with your athletic trainer, because more questions may be needed. We are requiring PCR tests. We are not accepting rapid COVID tests. Something else that I wanted to note is you don't need a negative test to come back if you have had a positive test. Again, we're going to go through how your symptoms are progressing. That's just the latest recommendation from the CDC. Next slide, we're going to talk about hydration. This is super important for all athletes. It's something that a lot of you may overlook. So the key that we want you to remember is you should have 8 16-ounce bottles a day of water. Or the way that I like to look at it is you take your body weight and put in half, it's that amount in ounces. So you weigh 200 pounds, half your body weight in ounces would be 100 ounces of water a day. It's pretty simple. Most of this water should be consumed before and after, but not during. Now, if you know you haven't hydrated all day, chugging a gallon of water before the game is not ideal. We do appreciate people that want to drink Powerade and Gatorade. One of the things that you need to remember about them is that it's a during and after type drink. It's not going to do a whole lot for you before. It's really more for recovery. If you take a look at this hydration chart I have down here on the screen, the top number or the top level, this is how I like to remember it. If you're hydrated, your pee is gonna really look more like this lemonade, right? But if you're dehydrated, it's gonna look more like apple juice. If your pee looks like apple juice, you need to let us know. Very, very important. Because at that point, it's probably severely dehydrated and you might even need fluids from there. Please try to stay away from any of these energy drinks. They're not really good for athletes anyway, but we don't want to see you ingesting them because it will, like I'll note on the next page, it helps to dehydrate you. So it's really not doing you any favors whatsoever. So some factors that dehydrate you. Dehydration is the loss of fluids and electrolytes from the body. So these are the following examples. This is not an extensive list. This is just some things that you all can note that just show what factors dehydrate you. So alcohol, stress, you're a college student, so you're obviously under a lot of stress. Lack of sleep, any colds or sicknesses you may have, you will be more dehydrated. Overexertion, heat, lack of eating good food. We know that we are a convenient society, so obviously a lot of us have issues with that. Dehydration and caffeine. Like I said before, caffeine is a huge dehydrator. We're going to go through a little bit of nutrition stuff. I only have a few more topics, so stay with me here. Nutrition, we want you to try to really focus on eating a lot of colorful foods. So any of those good vegetables and fruit. Salads are really good for athletes, really good lean protein. Try to eat at least an hour and a half before a game or your practice. It's really going to help you to fuel your body. That's something that a lot of athletes don't realize, like your food fuels your performance. So if you're noting that your performance isn't so good, just take a look at your nutrition. That might be a huge factor in that. Avoid the following, okay? Fried foods, sweets, carbonated beverages, alcohol, and caffeine. They're not going to help your body perform optimally, and it's not going to be good for you. And like I said, like your performance. Our last slide's here on mental health. It's a story I tell every year. I had an athlete who was very near and dear to my heart. She was one of my favorite kids. Came in to see me one afternoon in the athletic training room at the high school. She gave me a hug, told me she loved me, and she went on her way. She said she'd be back to visit. And I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. Of course, I was busy and I didn't take the time to, really dig into it. But the next morning, I got a phone call from another one of my athletes that had told me that she had taken her life that night after she had come to see me, the day that she came to see me. So I'm just going to touch on mental health. It's very important to me. It's very near and dear to my heart. So if any of you have any issues with mental health, please feel free to reach out. Mental health can manifest itself in any of these factors here. Any changes in your sleep or your energy level, if you're having problems concentrating, if you are feeling like you're sleeping more than usual, or you're overly worried, hopeless, things like that. Loss of interest in activities, if you just like really don't feel like going to practice anymore. If you feel disconnected from your friends, these are signs of mental health issues. And you know, we're very fortunate to have the counselors that we do have at Montgomery that really can sit down with you and talk about any issues you may have and can really get you pointed in the right direction. We've worked really well with them over the past couple years. We've saved a couple of athletes who were in crisis. They're a really great resource. So the next slide, just, you know, piggybacking off of my story about my athlete, suicide is the second leading cause of death in athletes 14 to 24. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And remember that there's always someone to listen. I'm always there to listen. But if you need anything from us, like, we are just more than happy to help you and figure things out. Sorry, I'm losing my mind right now because my dog is going bananas in the next room. There are things that you can look out for in your teammates and your friends as well. So please keep an eye on them. They may be trying to tell you in ways that you can easily identify. So these are 5 signs, the 5 key signs that your friends are struggling with something with their mental health. Any personality changes, you know, if they're different than they used to be, if they feel agitated or they're just super cranky, if they feel withdrawn, like if they're not wanting to go out and hang out with you and do things with the team, if you notice poor self-care, bad hygiene, things like that, and they may appear hopeless. These are 5 signs that will be able to help you help them. So if you notice it and you are uncomfortable, or if you feel like they need help, please reach out to either myself or Miss Carrie. We are all in this together. So please, please, please let us know if we can do anything to help you. We do, if you don't feel comfortable, that's fine as well. We have a board outside of our office in Rockville, PE 212, with numbers and resources that can help you. Suicide prevention hotlines, talk text lines, things like that, that can be super helpful. But that's the end of my talk here. If you guys have any questions, if you need any help with anything athletic training wise, please just let me know. You can shoot me an email, kristen.voigt@montgomerycollege.edu. If you have my number, you can reach out as well, or stop out at PE 212 and we'll try to get you through whatever you need. But I hope everyone has a great day.